Donc Vance, comme je disais, Vance qui qu'on n'a pas vu depuis le début du jeu. On l'a juste vu dans l'intro, mais jamais, hein. Qui est super bien modélisé, on
What
va
do you
l'avouer, hein.
have to tell us today, young man? Dead men really do tell tales. The victim has telltale signs of
Ah,
early stage thyroid cancer,
aux radiations
most
nucléaires.
likely caused by repeated exposure to radioactive material.
Ah,
It wasn't the cause of death, and I suspect. But despite the evidence, it was not the blow to the head that killed the poor man.
non, ah,
His ultimate demise was cardiac arrest.
crise cardiaque. Donc le coup à la tête ne serait pas le...
Our captain obviously suffered massive head trauma. There are bruises and telltale wounds on his skull that suggest he was bludgeoned by a heavy object.
D'accord, ah, là il y a un truc là. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça?
The suspicious needle entrance on the man's back makes me think there is something we're missing. I'm going to send a sample of his blood to Abby for testing.
Non, et le tatouage.
This particular choice in body art is not something I have come across before. Of course, many sailors have some sort of tattoo on their... The cancer we found is consistent with what you've told me about his mission history. But cardiac arrest, especially for a man of the captain's relatively young age and high level of fitness, is quite unusual. I've sent samples of his blood to Abby for testing.
Keep up the good work, Duck.
C'est reparti pour analyser tout ça. Après je pense qu'il y aura le tableau des déductions et ça sera la fête du slibard. Ah, peut-être un nouveau jeu. Je vais cacher ma joie, c'est promis. Subtil, hein. Non mais attendez, non, pas subtil, j'avais raison. Oui d'accord, c'est moi qui ai pété les plombs. Excusez-moi.
The substance in Husker's blood is succinylcholine. In small doses, it is used to induce muscle relaxation. In larger doses, it can be lethal. It's Abby. I just finished the tests on Captain Husker's blood. I found high levels of a toxin known as succinylcholine. In much smaller doses, it's used as a muscle relaxer, commonly used to induce paralysis for tracheal surgery.
All right, let's do another deduction board.
Autre chose que je remarque, c'est que j'ai l'impression qu'il... Attends, mais elle a battu clouté. Il t'a envoyé les preuves. Et comment ça marche votre univers? Comment ça marche? Non mais pareil, enfin, le fait qu'il puisse se téléphoner comme ça...
Let's see what we can find.
Non, je suis désolé.
Why don't you explain it to me, Abs?
Ah, ne marche pas comme ça.
Just what I thought.
Donc, empoisonnement. Ah, le médecin légiste, enfin médecin légiste a dit qu'elle avait demandé son
Husker's
transfert.
cause of death was definitely poison, not blunt force trauma or cardiac arrest. This was premeditated, cold-blooded murder.
Now we just need to know why.
I'm way ahead of you, working on the evidence you sent me now.
Ah parce qu'on pouvait pas le faire avant. Et genre tout déterminer après.
Gotcha, you little bugger.
Je sais pas, ça me paraissait plus logique. Une empreinte sur tous les trucs, hein. Attention. Grosse ambiance. Alors non, c'est pas celle-là. Non, c'est pas celle-là. C'est pas celle-là. Ça m'a l'air d'être celle-là. Non, l'autre côté.
The fingerprints on
Je suis
these
un
instruments belong
détective.
to Captain Husker. Captain Husker was into something more than a little bondage. He was into full-on torture.
D'accord, effectivement. Pas vraiment un gars sympa le Captain Husker. De l'autre côté, je pense pas que Pramas était au courant de ça. Je vais pas les retenir ailleurs.
The substance in this file is sodium
Sérum de
pentothal.
vérité.
Truth
Pas
serum.
total de sodium. Oui, je regarde un peu trop les séries de police. Pas total.
Fingerprints can tell a lot of stories. These are going to tell us who our
Là, je
killer
pense que
is.
ça va être le médecin de la base. Après, malgré 2-3 000 incohérences, il y a des trucs qui se tiennent, hein, mais... Attends, une cicatrice. Non, c'est pas ça. Attendez. Je suis full rebou. Celle-là? Ouais, voilà. D'accord.
Why would Dr. Marks be at the torture
Ah! Je le savais. Ville gourgandine. Elle les aurait pas euthanasiés. C'est un peu sale de dire ça, mais
The substance in this vial is succinylcholine, a highly toxic poison. Why does it not surprise me to find traces of a rare poison twice in one day? Gibbs, I found the same rare poison that killed Captain Husker in one of the vials from the torture facility. Those two are a long way apart. How did it get to both places?
Deduction board.
oui d'accord, c'est bon, j'y vais Gibbs. J'y vais. C'est qui touche vraiment le son. Non, faut que j'arrête de
Let's see what we
regarder
can
les
find.
Why don't you explain it to me, Ab?
empreinte digitale de Gigi Husker, pain total. Torturer des gens, oui non mais d'accord, mais là c'est le pain total. Le pain total. Bah oui. Il
I
torturait des
deserve a
gens.
cupcake for that.
je... C'est pas très halal.
So now it's clear. Husker was torturing people for information, and Dr. Marks was somehow involved. Then something went wrong between the two of them, and she poisoned him. Worried she'd get caught, she tried to frame the acting CO, Commander Pramus.
He's probably long gone by now. McGee, need to find the doctor. I'm already on it.
McGee? How long have you been on the line?
I'm always on the line.
Donc encore une fois, le fait qu'il puisse se téléphoner comme ça, tranquille. Bah, Guy, ça se comprend, mais putain, Gibbs c'est en direct. Théoriquement, il demande une communication par satellite. Elle est là, la madame. Mais attendez, vous êtes en train de la pourchasser en voiture là ou?
I've never missed before and I don't plan to start now. I hope you've enjoyed your joyride.
Target is proceeding on course. Target on course to be intercepted. Copy that. Target is outbound. We have a visual.
We got her, boss. The base guards are bringing her to you.
Got it.
Welcome back, Doctor.
I'm not telling you anything.
We know what you were doing out there, in that blood-stained concrete torture box.
You don't know anything.
As doctors, we took an oath to protect human life and limit suffering. I understand that sometimes those two goals conflict with each other.
You have no idea what you're talking about. This is a war zone, Dr. Mallard, not some comfortable morgue in Washington, D.C. Things work differently here.
I have spent more than my fair share of time in a war zone, Dr. Marks, and I once watched a man tortured to the brink of death repeatedly. It was my job to keep him alive so that his tormentor could extend his suffering. I refused and instead ended his suffering and his life. Much as I suspect you did for the victims out at that dreadful facility.
You have your facts wrong.
Why don't you correct me then?
I am a doctor. I save lives and end suffering. End of story.
You were torturing people at that warehouse.
No, never.
That's not good enough.
I would never intentionally inflict suffering on another human being. I'm not a torturer, Agent Gibbs.
Ah bon? Cancer de la carotte. Oh, putain, mais il y a tellement d'indices. Comment ça, faux? Je ne suis pas une tortionnaire. Non mais d'accord. Mais c'est le seul indice qu'il a. La salle de torture. Ok, super.
Saw the inside of your warehouse. We know what you and Husker were doing out there.
He ordered me. He made me inject them with sodium pentothal so they wouldn't resist his questions. Then he ordered me to nurse them back to health, just as Dr. Mallard described from his own experiences. He wanted to extend their pain. But I never tortured anyone. It was always Captain Husker. I did as I was ordered. I eased their pain, reduced their suffering as best I could.
Who were these people?
Iraqi civilians, mostly.
Need something more specific.
They were all Iraqi civilians. People he picked up off the street who he suspected as having ties to terrorists.
So you killed them.
I tried to help them.
Help them?
I didn't kill them. I did as I was ordered. I eased their pain, reduced their suffering as best I could.
Uh-huh. Oui, non, mais alors attendez. Je peux mettre autre chose aussi. Parce que, là on est d'accord. Alibi confirmé, donc ça on s'en fout. Le tatouage, la cause de la mort, je les ai pas tués, j'ai suivi les ordres. Donc oui, moi je vois que ça. Ah, merci.
We also found the succinylcholine.
No, it's not something... He was inflicting terrible, unspeakable things. I couldn't let him keep doing that. Not to anyone. So I injected the succinylcholine instead of the sodium pentothal.
But he found out.
Yeah, he did.
So you killed him too?
Yes, he found out, but no, I didn't kill him.
Blessure crânienne, cancer de la thyroïde. Cause du décès.
Your autopsy proved that the commander was killed by a lethal injection of succinylcholine. You injected him. As he was dying, you hit him over the head to finish him off.
It wasn't like that. When he found out, he threatened me. Asked me if I wanted to trade places with one of the victims. I was scared. He came at me. I already had a syringe, so I injected him, but he was strong. He fought back.
What's the matter, Tony?
Caffeine crash. I don't know how the Gibbs man does it, but if coffee is his secret weapon, count me out. I mean, I like coffee as much as the next guy, but Gibbs is inhuman.
How much did you lose by?
It doesn't matter how many more he drank than me, okay?
A lot. A whole lot.
Like you're one to talk. You don't even drink real coffee, just that little soft drink. I'd like to see you try to switch to a real man's brew. Then we'll see who's laughing.
You know, Tony, there's actually more caffeine in calf pow per ounce than in your typical cup of coffee. In fact, even with the latest coffee brewing technology, there is no way, either physical or chemical, to squeeze that much caffeine out of a coffee bean.
You'd have to artificially add caffeine to reach the same levels, and that's not even counting the ginseng, vitamin B, and other stimulants in calf pow.
Very nice, McGee.
So what are you saying?
They're saying you're the only one who can't hang with the boss.